So maybe this will help some people. I was just driving this and surprised that it's really together still. Came in here and slid in, drifted in. You know, you can see on the, I'm not trying to break it, but I kind of don't care either. I did not expect these wheel motors to continue to last, because this machine is either pulling a trailer, it's sometimes has the detach rake behind it, or which for my area that's heavy enough rake for detaching, or the aerator on behind, or more impactfully the grader bar pulling, you know, whatever amount of gravel will pack up in front of that, you know, which sometimes is a lot, sometimes not as much. But or out in the woods, and I'll wrap vines around here, give it one wrap and try to hold on to it while I'm backing away to pull the vines that I've cut out of the tree. So what I'm saying is I use it pretty hard, and I did not really expect it to still be working. And here's where I can save you a lot of money. Okay, these wheel motors technically should have been long gone into the salvage yard because the keyway's sheared. Okay, now I don't know if I'm good or lucky, but I welded them. One time my weld broke, but then I cut like a groove with the grinder and because it wasn't really, the hub isn't really the right kind of material to weld. I use stick welder, and I've had to weld both sides because the keyway wallered out. You know what I mean? You couldn't do nothing with them, and they were leaking, right? So, and they still are, but I'm not going to change something because it's leaking, you know? So anyway, just as a tip, if you got a welder and you want to try it, you might get 3, 4, 5 more years, even maybe the rest of the life out of the machine, just welding up them hubs onto that wheel motor, you know? So might be worth a shot. I'm sorry I can't show you exactly how I did it and whatnot, but you know, if you weld it up and it shears, try it a little bit different, where you're putting a little more heat onto the axle or whatever. But okay, in that case, I will tell you this, is great, it brings up a good point. Don't put too much heat into that axle. I would do just a little, and then I'd pour some water on the shaft up close to the wheel motor. If you can see them, I stepped these wheel motors back to make room for the bigger tires. There's 2 points of index on these frames. So if you want to, you can put bigger tires on. See the holes, they were from the factory. You just move it all back, and instead of seeing the actual end of your wheel motor here, it'll be back further. But that lets you clear the deck with bigger wheels and tires or whatever, if you wanted to. But anyway, oh yeah, I was telling you, back here by the wheel motor, see well, you can't see it. I'd pour water, all right, because I was trying to keep the heat down from transferring into the shaft, into the wheel motors and ruining the seal. But other than that, I'm happy in that it has utility, because I also have a winch that goes on the front here. So if I need to put some piece of it against a tree, I can use the winch to pull something else out. And then I've got the fertilizer spreader that goes on that front receiver. So that makes it easy to, if I want to put down some organite, there's the winch right there. And then there's also an aluminum cargo tray that a lot of times if I want to move some plants or some heavy steel or something around, I don't even, oh, it's up there by the Hustler sign. So that just slots in. It was actually, if you've seen my old videos, it's from the Ram 3500 that I had. That was one of the wheel arches. So, you know, you can kind of use the imagination. Anywhere you can stick a receiver, you can figure out ways to make that receiver be the genesis of an attachment that might be real handy for what you're doing. Who knows? You can't just, you gotta think outside the box though, I would say. All right, have a good day.